Hey everyone, this is Joel.
And Noah from the Wealth is Health podcast.
This podcast is a conversation of our journey to financial health.
We think working till 65 just ain't it, and just like you, we're trying to make sure that never happens.
And if you're interested in letting us know what you're trying to do to achieve financial health and want to join us in our journeys, join the discussion on our Facebook at the Wealth is Health podcast.
Let's tap in.
All right, you know what? That actually looks like it sounds pretty good, like pretty kind of even. All right, well, that was a great introduction. What's going on, everyone? Joel and Noah back with the first episode of the Wealth is Health podcast. Very excited to be here, of course. And today we're going to be talking about why we actually are doing this whole thing in the first place. I'm going to kind of have my little session. Next episode today is going to be all about Noah's journey to where he's at right now. Exactly. Yeah. So we're souped, we're hyped. And I mean, we could just start out right now with asking you, I mean, how did you get involved? How did you start doing this? Why?
Wait. We didn't want to talk about the why of the podcast first?
No, see, yeah. We can talk about the why podcast first. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you take it over. Tell us why.
Hold on. Nah, I'm gonna need.
Nah, why are we doing this? No. All right. So one day, I was talking to Noah about how it feels pretty lonely, to be honest, doing this whole financial freedom journey, trying to retire early. There's not very many people in college, especially, who are trying to do this. And I don't know about any other colleges, but I can say I go to URI, and for the most part, a lot of people aren't really concerned about their future financials as of right now, which is, I can't really blame them in the sense that I feel like society is just like, man, forget about that. Have fun in college, party, do your thing. But at the same time, like, I'm not even trying to do that. And I see a bunch of people depressed and sad after they leave college, talking about how college is the best 4 years of their life. Like, no, I'm not trying to have living in like a cube the best 4 years of my life. I'm trying to actually enjoy my life. So talking to Noah was great. And I actually hit him. He hit me up, I think, after. I don't know if I slipped on your story or something. Like, you were talking about your stock portfolio. And I was like, yo, I'm interested in that too. But I got to meet Noah in the group, which was super cool. But then we started talking about how, like, I kind of tried to get this man on YouTube, like, to talk a little bit. He was like, nah, man, I don't mess with that. But I was like, all right, how about a podcast? Yeah, exactly. I was like, how about a podcast? Because it's definitely more natural. You kind of just talk. And he was like, yeah, I'm with it. And to be honest, Noah, I didn't even tell you, but that was kind of an idea that I was like, yeah, maybe we can do this, like, later on, like, when I'm, like, out of school, doing whatever. But I think that we did see the support from the people inside our group. So I was like, you know what? Might as well just do this now. And that's at least my reasoning behind it, but I'm sure yours is similar too.
Yeah, so it is similar. Basically, I'm viewing it as like an extension of like our mastermind group. So basically, mastermind, or the idea of like a mastermind group, I believe it comes from either the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill or The Laws of Success by the same author. But essentially, like, it's just a meeting of the minds towards a common goal. So obviously, like, our common goal is like financial health.
Yes.
So like you said, it is hella isolating. You know what I mean? Like, it's very hard to find other people that are on the same wave. And to be honest, most people in general, like, it's not even just that they're on a different wave, but it's like they're trying to criticize you for the way that you're choosing to live your life.
That's what yeah. Because I think people are really just genuinely afraid of seeing other people succeed, but they're just doing something you don't see normally. So I feel like it's not normal to criticize, but I'm not surprised that criticism comes. And to be honest, that's one of the questions I kind of have for you. So I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, dang. Okay. Yeah. We're going to be getting into that. But yeah, that was basically my mind, or my reason why. It's basically just an extension of the mastermind and like us. Like, I mean, we already have like our Rhode Island community. There's another mastermind I'm a part of in Massachusetts. But yeah, so I guess now we're kind of taking it a little bit bigger and building like, I don't know if you want to say a virtual community, because I mean, we might eventually have meetups and all that.
Like an army, bro. We're building an army.
We're building a gang. You know what I mean? Nationwide, let's go. Might be international. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good segue too, Noah. For anyone that is interested in becoming or just talking about your experience, join the Facebook. We have an Instagram too. Coming, it's already here, but join the Instagram. It's Wealth is Health Podcast. Same thing for the Facebook, the Wealth is Health Podcast. Talk about what you're trying to do too, how you feel, where you're at in your journey. We want to hear it too.
Yes, sir. We're basically here to like like basically share our information and resources. But yeah, it has to go both ways, you know what I mean? So it's like we want to hear from y'all as well. So we can just all put each other on and help each other to grow, basically.
Yeah, and we're black, so like that's
I just slide that in there, you know what I mean?
yeah, we're black, so nah, I'm messing. But for real though, I don't really see a lot of people of color. I feel like it's weird to say people of color, to be honest, but I don't really see a lot of people of any color, doing this as much as people in other communities. So that's why I like the Wall Street Chapter, making it seem like yeah, this is another out. You can use this too. Facts. All right, so you ready to get into this? You think that was a good intro there?
Yeah, I think it was good.
All right, awesome. So yeah, the first question, it's not really a question. I kind of just want to ask you how you even stumbled upon financial freedom, kind of like what happened basically after the day you graduated from high school. What happened?
Ooh, since I graduated high school, so to keep it like all the way a buck, I didn't really think I had too much potential, to be honest. So that's why it's like I didn't really think I was gonna do much after high school, so I didn't even sign up for like college or anything like that. I just started working, and obviously I worked at like the most trash ass place you could work at, no degree, no nothing.
Where'd you work?
BK, baby.
BK, I didn't even know that. Hey,
yes sir, I work more, you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, so I was just doing that for a minute. Obviously that wasn't making minimum wage and all that, but yeah, I ended up actually going to school a little bit during that time period, but that definitely wasn't it for me personally.
Wait, what'd you go to school for?
I was just going for like accounting.
Okay.
Yeah, which you would think makes sense, but no.
Nah, yeah.
No,
wait, what,
nah,
did you go to,
it wasn't it for me. I was just going to CC.
Oh, CC, yeah.
So after doing that for a little bit, I ended up becoming a manager there, which gave me kind of a little bit more experience when it came to like just handling money and all that. So then I ended up freaking it to a bank, working as a teller, since I had kind of like the money management skills and all that. And damn, I don't know if I want to go into that story.
What?
Real quick.
Yeah, you have to go into it now. Yeah,
right.
Why you left BK? Why you left BK?
No, I mean it was easy why I left BK, but okay. I don't know if I want to get into the story about why I left the first bank I was working at.
Is it bad? Like what?
So
yeah, you have to get into it.
Yeah, so I mean, because at that time too, it's like I didn't know anything about like financial health or anything like that. So basically, like my way of coming up was just gonna be like through corporate America, just grinding, like trying to get to basically the top of the ladder. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I realized that I was outworking everyone, like just trying to prove myself, trying to make sure that I'm gonna get to the top, to the next level or whatever. But they was kind of hating, to be honest.
Of course they were hating, bro. Yeah.
All yeah. Right, so essentially, like my next move, because I was a teller, right? I was trying to become a universal banker. So basically, what that is, it's kind of like you're like a crossbreed almost between like a teller, who is obviously you see them like at the desk counting your money, doing deposits, withdrawals, and all that, to being also like a personal banker. So you can go to the other side and actually, I guess, just put people onto different products and actually like open the accounts for them, and things like that. So I was trying to kind of be like a double threat, and I had asked like the district executive about like making that transition. He was like, "Yo, to be honest with you, like the president that we have right now at the bank is not rolling with that."
You said stay in your lane.
Yeah, basically he was like, "Nah, bro, like tellers are not. Nah, we're not trying to have them become universal bankers." So he was saying instead, I would have to like move up to like the management side for the tellers, which I wasn't trying to do. I wasn't trying to be a manager. Like I'm just trying to like just kill it. You know what I mean? Like without having to manage other people. Like let me just do my thing. Yeah. So he said he wasn't having it basically, and I was like, all right, bet then I'm out because like I said, like I'm already taking the time. Yeah, I'm already like working dumb harder than basically everyone there. Trying to prove myself to get to that level, and if they weren't gonna have it, then it's like I'm just gonna find another way to get my bag then. So I had reached out to another bank, and originally they had actually rejected me, to be honest. They weren't having it. Yeah, but then that same manager had called me back. She's actually an assistant vice president. She had called me back like a couple months later for like another position. She was like, "Yeah, we couldn't bless you with that one, well, we got something else for you right here. So I was like, all right, bet. Which is funny because that was the same day that I was basically getting not only like recognition, but like a promotion from the original bank I was working at. But it didn't really mean anything anyways. Like basically they just gave me more responsibility without even giving me like a wage increase.
Yeah, that's how it is, man. That's literally how it is.
And I'm just not like that because I don't care for just the recognition alone, especially if you're putting more responsibility on my plate. Like, no, family, like I'm here for this bag.
Yeah, nah.
But
so I'm curious that what during this time, like how was your spending? Like, what were you saving money? Were you spending money on like just any? I don't know. Were you being frugal or were you just like spending money? Like, what was it like?
so I was being frugal, but I definitely wasn't really at the level with it as I am now because I wasn't investing really at that time. I had my 401k, but I didn't really understand how that worked like at all, and I was really only contributing I think like up to the company match, and that was it. So I was just like saving money in like a bank account, and that was it.
Oh, that's terrible.
And just like my money management skills, like it was good relative like to my peers, but nowhere close to the way that I manage money now, to be honest with you.
What then? Like, what sparked then? What sparked financial freedom? Like, what sparked? And by the way, for anyone, we say financial freedom is financial health because just like you're healthy, you got to be. I don't know how I just messed that part up. I don't know. Like, just like you're trying to be healthy in real life, you're trying to be healthy financially as well. But financial freedom is when you try to get enough assets to cover the cost of living, and that's when you're technically retired. So that's where we're both striving towards. Right now. So then for you, like, how did that start? How did you get to the point where you're like, you know what, I want to be financially free. I want to get out of this.
Yeah, so I was still the type of person that was always trying to learn and grow. But yeah, so I would just like let people know that, you know what I mean? Like, so this one girl that I had worked with, like she was also a teller. She was like, oh, because you're interested in all this stuff, like maybe you should check out this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like it seems like you would really like it. So I had read that. And that was really interesting to me. It definitely changed my mindset a lot. But I still didn't really know how to like do a lot of the stuff that he was talking about. Like I know like, all right, so I should be investing. I should be having money work for me instead of working for money. But like, I have no idea how to do that. But since he talked about real estate a lot, in that book, that's when I ended up finding like bigger pockets and all that. And I feel like that's the time when I actually started just trying to read more books in general. To just educate myself on a bunch of different topics. But yeah, after I had read that book, a while later, our relationship banker at that same bank had put me on to, Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. So that kind of got more into the like specifics of kind of like how you should be investing or like a simple way to invest, which was through like index funds. Like for example, the S&P 500, which is the top 500 companies in the United States. But yeah, so that kind of gave me like a little bit more of a guideline of how to do it. And that same relationship banker also put me on to Think and Grow Rich, which I mentioned earlier. And yeah, those books kind of really like laid the foundation for me. And then after that is when I read Set for Life. And Set for Life.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So that's the one that gave like a lot more practical like advice on like how to bring that journey to financial health basically, like, and condense it so much more, because even with Money Master the Game, that was still more so like, all right, so how do you like set yourself up for like retirement in the future, so like at 65, and we had already said that ain't it, you know what I mean? Yeah, but at the time it's like I didn't even think you could do it beforehand. You know what I mean? So, like, I was just like, whatever, like, this is all I know right now, so I'm just going to make sure I set myself up for that. But, yeah, Set for Life let me know that you could do it way quicker, so you could retire potentially, like, in your 30s or your 40s.
The reason I like that, too, the reason I liked Set for Life when we started reading it was when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I guess I'll talk about my experience later on in the next episode, but when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, it just tells you, like, you know, I increased my income. And you're like, what? Yeah, how did you increase your income? Like, yeah. All right, I get it. I know you're not spending money, but the increased income part is like so important. But when I read Set for Life, I think that is too when I started being like, yo, this is actually very possible in like as long as you take like very calculated steps, this is very possible and attainable. And he makes it so I guess making money is, you can make money doing anything, but he really focuses on saving money and making money. So anyone that doesn't really know where to start or begin, but you're interested, that's definitely a great book to start out to. And real estate is one of the biggest markets too you can make money in. So fantastic read.
So I was gonna say, I feel like at least for me, it's important to read those books kind of in that order, like in terms of Rich Dad Poor Dad and then Set for Life, because Rich Dad Poor Dad kind of like, it sells you the dream and it gives you the vision and the mindset that you need, and then Set for Life is like, all right, so here are the actual like practical steps of like how to do this. You know what I mean?
So yeah, so you read, you take time of your day to read, like you take like a hardcover book.
Why
exactly. Exactly. So what do you use then?
No, I mean I'm actually study reading, like even physical books as well. But yeah, I primarily do. Yeah, I primarily do audiobooks.
Audible, yes,
sir.
Audible.
Especially for like finance and investing in business or whatever, like those types of books. Because even in my job right now, it's like I'm able to like keep my and basically. Actually, let me not even give them free promo. But yeah, so with my facts, so with my job, like I'm allowed to keep my earbuds in. So I'm just running through books basically on there, and I try to do, me personally, I do a book a week on Audible, and then I have like a physical book that I read like as part of like my morning process or whatever. But those books are typically more so like psychology or like spirituality or whatever the case is.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, Noah, because the Kindle that I have, it's kind of tough to. I don't know. I'm a pretty busy person throughout the day, so I'll try to read in the morning or before I go to sleep. But sometimes I really just don't have that like time to say I'm gonna take like 30 minutes or 45, because I would really like to read that book. But like you're saying, like when you have an audiobook and you're doing work, but you're also, it's kind of like mindless work regardless. Like I know that you also make money while reading these books and make money in the future, because you know you do the delivery service. I don't even know if I want to mention that either. No one's getting free promos. No, we can't.
Yeah, I feel like we can do that one because I feel like that's part of like the sharing information part. You know what I mean? Where it's like anyone could do this. So.
Yeah, so we both deliver on Grubhub or DoorDash. Contrary to popular belief, fantastic ways to get money. I think the average for me right now is like around $21 to $25 an hour. Just you kind of have to be smart about how you do it. No, I think you're making like more than that, or about the same.
I don't really count it by hour, to be honest. I just try to do more so like, what do I expect for the day or the week. But yeah, I actually want to speak on that real quick because.
All right.
Yeah, because I feel like when you don't know how to move money, I feel like that's when you allow like to be said to stop you from actually getting to where you need to be. Because like everyone and their mom wanted to tell me, and this goes back to like the criticism thing that you were talking about. Everyone and their mom wanted to tell me that doing that.
Yo, chill. This is a question I have for you.
Dang, bro.
I might as well ask it. I might as well ask it then. But before I ask this and before we go into this, I want to kind of like finish up that story you were saying. Like after you read these books and you got this stuff going, like when were you like, all right, like I need to make a change. I need to start investing. Like this is how should I do it? Like this is, when did you kind of make a move, the first move? And the first move is getting information though, but like the first like tangible move, I guess.
So the first actual move, I think it was after reading Money Master the Game. So this is when I was at like the bank that I'm at right now. And I had just started. This was like June of 2017. So I read Money Master the Game and I read Set for Life right after, and that's when I actually started opening up like a brokerage account, and investing at that point. And it was only index funds up until actually 2020. That's when I started doing individual stocks. But yeah, so I was just doing index funds, and like I was basically trying to do like how can I save or invest like as much money as possible. So at that point is when I was really trying to buckle down on like basically going through like a financial diet. Like let me cut out all the bad, everything I don't need, right? Yeah. And just save as much money as I can. But like my income was so limited at the time. So, and it's like, this is the funny thing too though. Like looking back on it, because like at the previous bank, I left there and I was making, I don't know, maybe when I left I was making like $13 an hour or something like that.
13? Really?
Yeah.
That's how it was? Bro.
Yeah. So I started off at BK at minimum wage. I went to that bank. I started off at $12.40, and then I think I ended up getting to like 13 or something like that. And then when I went to the bank that I'm at now, they started me off at 16. Now I'm making 18 there. Like 18 something. But I mean that income is kind of irrelevant at this point.
Which is crazy because you're making more on Grubhub, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's a fact. Making way more on Grubhub.
You're just making more on Grubhub. It's insane.
Yes, sir. But yeah, so obviously, like, especially in Set for Life, you learn that, like, there's only so much that you can save. You know what I mean? But the interesting thing, like I said, was at the time, like, especially making that jump from, like, 13 to 16, I was over here like, yo, I'm rich, bro. Like, y'all can't tell me nothing. You know what I mean? Like, this is the most money I ever made in my life, bro. And, like, most of the people around me were not really making money like that either. So it really did kind of seem like a lot at first. But, and that's the important thing about, like, basically being in, like, almost like a financial gym in a way. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you gotta keep working out. You gotta keep, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. But
you gotta make sure. Nah, seriously?
You gotta be in the gym. Like, you gotta keep pushing yourself and, like, working out mentally so you can, like, really get to where you want to be. And, like, kind of grow those muscles. So it's like, as I'm continuing to educate myself through books and podcasts, YouTube videos and stuff like that, it's like I'm starting to see, like, a whole different world than what's actually around me right now. So that's when I was getting put on to people that were, like, my age, making way more money than me, and being able to save and invest way more money than me. And it's kind of like that idea of, like, you're the average of, like, the 5 people that you're around the most or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, at that time, like I said, when I was going through that financial diet, it wasn't just, like, what's happening, like, on my budget or whatever. It's like, nah, bro. I'm taking a diet from, like, everything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm damn near cutting people off. Like, I'm just not really, just not really trying to deal with too many people. But go ahead.
Yeah. Nah, it's crazy because, well, the average of the 5 people you're around the most is so valid. That's why you got to make sure in the gym with people who are also on the same grind as you, because that not only makes you want to go back to the gym, but it also keeps you just with someone else. Like, you're not alone in this process. There's someone else who's on the same grind as you. It's great to feel like that. And, man, it's so hard to not want to talk about my experience, too, because I feel the same way when you say you just got to cut people out. Like, it's harsh, but these people are not in it for the same reasons you are, and they're not as dedicated to your success as they don't even care about themselves. Like, they don't care about bringing each other up out of this system that we're in. And that's why I think it is important that you realize that. And it's still so early on that you realize that. It's just one of the most important epiphanies that you can have.
Yeah, that's a fact. So, and it's like, I don't even feel like it's just the people that you're physically around, but that also goes into, like, the content that you're consuming. So, like I said, I'm consuming so much content from people that are doing things on a way higher level than I even thought was possible. But since, like, that's all I'm doing all day, like, I'm just in the gym all day, like, obviously my mind's going to start elevating. I'm going to start thinking kind of, like, similar to how they think and viewing opportunities differently. And just viewing, like, my potential, like, what I'm actually capable of a lot differently versus just the people that I'm around right now. But yeah, so that... Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask the second question because you kind of segued right into it, but if you want to keep going, keep going.
No, you can go ahead. It doesn't matter.
All right, second question then. So just like you're saying, like, you know, the people you're surrounding yourself with, you're cutting them off. How did you find this group of like-minded people? How did you make this mastermind group initially?
Bro, that didn't come until way later, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Yeah, to keep
what's
it a buck.
What's the term?
That was, like, I don't know. I think maybe I started meeting with, like, Jessica Priest.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just me and her. Maybe that started in, like, 2018, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but you were consistent with it, though. You were consistent, is what I'm hearing. And that's
I was
important.
consistent with it. So yeah, at that point we were trying to meet, like, bi-weekly or whatever. But actually, before I even get to all that though, like,
let's go back.
Because I feel like it's important to emphasize the fact that at the beginning, like, it really was just me by myself, and, like, for a lot of people listening, it's probably gonna be like that in a sense. But that's why it was important for me to find, like, kind of, I don't even want to say just online community, because I wasn't being active in, like, any Facebook groups or anything like that at the time. But I was just continuously, like I said, just being in the gym and consuming information through books and podcasts. So I'm like, yo, these are damn near my friends right here, bro. These are my peers now. Like, that's just how I felt. So I'm like, yo, he can do that. Like, Scott Trench, the CEO of Bigger Pockets, he can do that. Like, bro, I bet you I'm nicer to him, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I was feeling. Like, I just don't think that, like, certain people are just better than me now. Like, I can keep up with them, but obviously it's like I got to put in the work and make sure, because they're setting, like, a new standard for myself. That's the thing. Because even when you are starting to, like kind of gather your group and meet with people, like, I don't want to say it would be, like, a hindrance, but in a way it's like if y'all are all at the same, like, level, then it's still, like, the bar still might not be as high as you need it to be. So regardless, you still have to be in the gym, learning and growing from people that are at a way higher level than you, and have them set the bar. But yeah,
that's yeah, dude. I think that having someone to look up to like that is so important, and it, like, personally, for anyone that doesn't, I guess you wouldn't know, but the mastermind that we're a part of, I am definitely I feel like the newest member in terms of consistency. I don't know, but I look up to you guys, like the people who are actually, you know, going to, I don't want to even go into what you're doing yet, but I look up to you guys because you guys are doing so much bigger things, and it's like that pushes me every single week to come back with an update that is like, I'm working on this goal because I'm trying to get to where you're at, but I'm also trying to pass you, bro. Come on. It's a competition. No, it's not a competition.
No, but that's how it should be. You know what I mean? Because that's what I was saying about, like, Scott and them, like Scott Trench from Bigger Pockets, which is the author of Set for Life, by the way. But yeah, it's the same thing where it's like, yo, I really do not think that people are just better than me. You know what I mean? And like you said, it's not a competition thing. Like I'm trying to, like, disrespect them or, like, I don't know, but it's really just like, all right, cool. Like, show me how you did it so I can show you how to do it better. Exactly, yeah. Type of thing. But it's like that friendly competition where it's like we really are just pushing each other to grow. Because it's like, because even like you know what I mean? Like, I'm saying, like, dang, like, this kid is already mad smart. Like,
bro, I'm trying.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, imagine when he's out of college, bro, and he's actually, like, making bread and he's already working on different businesses and stuff. I'm already thinking, like, yo, I got to keep up with him.
Imagine,
like, that's how I'm thinking about it.
I'm not out there yet, but yeah, that type of competition and bond is something it is hard to find. Like, I'm not surprised, it is hard to find, and that really is what keeps me motivated too, to come back to the meetings every week. I know you're gonna have an update, so, like, what am I gonna have? It's great, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like feeling almost like I have to fight for my spot to be here. You know what I mean? I'm making sure no one can take this from me because I'm really putting in the work and continuously, like, learning. But yeah.
Yeah, so how did you deal with then, like, when was the point where you were like, all right, I'm tired of being alone. Let me try to reach out. Like, how did you reach out to people? Like, how'd you do that? And how long did it take for you to kind of get out of that? Like, what's the timeline between the first time you're like, not the first time, but the time you're in the gym working out and the time you're like, all right, it's time to branch out and really find some other people like this?
I mean, to be honest, I was kind of open to it from the beginning, but like I said, I just didn't know anyone that was really on that wave. And I'm hella introverted anyway, so it's not like I'm just going out, like, meeting a bunch of people. So even, like, the people that have come now, it hasn't been, like, it's, like, very organic, like, how it turned out. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Jason, right? So the only reason why I had reached out to him was, first of all, like, I know him from high school, so we were cool. He actually lived, like, a street over from me, so we were cool back in the day. But obviously, like I said, well, I guess he was a little bit more entrepreneurial and all that. But I definitely wasn't into, really, like, I wasn't into, like, financial health or anything like that at that time, really. But yeah, I saw that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, these are people in the Mastermind Group. Like, the names we throw out are for the most part people who are in the groups with us as well. Yeah.
So I saw that he was in Thailand for, like, months.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess no, he was in Cambodia.
Was it Cambodia?
Months, you know, so, yeah, he went to Cambodia for, like, 5 months, and he was in Thailand for a month. But he was gone from the U.S. for a whole 6 months, and I'm just like, how did this man do this?
Yeah.
So, like, low key, my bag. Yeah, low key, my bag is, like, to kind of check for people on, like, social media or whatever, and if I see that they might be doing something that kind of aligns with like financial health or financial independence or whatever, I kind of reach out to see like check the temp, like yo, so like what's really good. But yeah, so I was asking him like, yo, so how are you just able to do that? Like how could you just leave the country for a month at a time? You know what I mean? And like, are you making money while you're out there, or did you just save up beforehand? But yeah, so I saw that he was very entrepreneurial and all that, and I was like, yo, like when you come back, we should definitely link up and start like meeting, because I'm looking for other people that are like basically cut from this cloth.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he ended up coming, and like I said, I was already meeting with Caprice at that time as well. And I got like my friend Cody that I used to work with at Burger King to come too, because he was starting to be interested in things like that as well. But yeah, along the journey, because like I said, it's like you're remaining consistent, right? But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that you might not always like keep the same people, you know what I mean, that are there like at the beginning or while you're coming up, like throughout the whole entire journey. And the majority of people I'm mentioning, it's like they're still, I'm not saying that they're not in the group. Like they're definitely still in the group. They're in the group chat. They be contributing sometimes or whatever, and they still link up when they can. But yeah, it's just also something to be mindful of, that like don't be like too discouraged if you start meeting with certain people and then they end up kind of like, I don't want, like, I mean, in y'all's situation, they might end up falling off. Or sometimes it might just be like, for the people I would just mention, like Cody and Caprice, it's more so just like they're also busy like doing their own thing, so they don't really just have time to just be meeting every single week because of their schedules or whatever.
So did you get discouraged like when people wouldn't come to the meetings?
Bro, I was getting big discouraged, especially when it was just like basically just me at the beginning. I'm just trying to meet with like one person. I was getting big discouraged anytime like it couldn't happen. But yeah, like for whatever reason, like any sort of cancellation, I'm just like, bro, like what's good? Like, is you really about it? You know what I mean? Because that's just the type of person I am. Because it's like I'm extra committed. Like, yo, I don't know nothing other than this. Like this is it for me.
And that must have been a struggle too. That getting over the feeling like it's hard to do something when you're like, yo, you don't even have the same drive as me. Like you're not even in the same realm as me. Like don't. But at the same time, you can't be driving away people, because if you met yourself when you just started out and yourself back then wasn't going to the meeting because you're doing whatever, you know, you kind of don't know what you could have had there. So that must have been a hard time then, for sure.
Yeah, it was tough. And I'm not saying that these specific people or whatever, that they're not in the same like realm or anything like that. But yeah, as a general statement, that's facts. Like honestly, and that's also kind of what made it difficult in terms of even deciding like who can come to the group and who can't, type of thing. Because it's like, all right, so is this group for people that that are like already at a certain level and you're just trying to elevate, or is this more so kind of like open, where it's like even if you don't really know anything about these topics, but like you're somewhat interested, like you can come and just come like learn with us and grow with us if you decide that like this is for you. But it kind of took time to establish kind of how I wanted to work. But I know for sure that these days, I feel like if I'm going to invite someone, it's typically going to be because they're already kind of like doing their own thing. But yeah.
I was going to say too.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that the people that I've noticed in the group chat, or when I first showed up, it really wasn't like this is what a stock is, or this is how, it was like we've done our research, like how do we get better? So I've noticed that. And you do have a separate group that you meet with, the Mass Group, and they're kind of more just learning like what's really going on. So I'm sure you see more people who are just starting out in that group.
Yeah, definitely. In the Massachusetts group, it's a lot more like that, which is cool though. But yeah, I think it's kind of like if y'all are gonna establish like your own groups, to kind of have that, like figure out how you want to do it. Like, is this more so from like just new people off the street, or is like I want to make sure that I'm meeting with people that have already been in the gym, like doing what they need to do, and I'm just trying to, But it was definitely tough doing that. Yeah. So I definitely had kind of gained some people, lost some people, gained some more people, lost some people. You know what I mean? Like it, and it's always gonna be like that going forward.
And two, you can, I guess you can be a part of different groups because you're a part of different groups as well. You're a part of this group, the Mass Group, but you also have these other groups that you talk to with the people in the courses that you purchased, and you can talk to them every single week.
Yeah, right? So that's another thing too that I would actually recommend for people, because I feel like, I mean, it doesn't even have to be courses, but like courses kind of help a lot. I feel like in the sense that if you're looking for a course, then I would try to find one that does offer like a community aspect as well, because it's like people that kind of learned it like the same way as you. You know what I mean? Because there's a million ways to invest in real estate. Like there's a million ways to invest in the stock market. But it's like if we all kind of have like a similar foundation about how we view this, and then obviously you add like your own little sauce on top of it, and you gain other perspectives like outside of like that course, and you can bring it to the group. But it's like that same kind of foundation that's there. I would definitely recommend that. But yeah, I'm in a couple different groups. So the groups outside of like my mastermind groups that I physically meet with, like in Rhode Island and Mass, they're a lot more kind of specialized. So it's like, all right, I'm talking to this group specifically for like rental property investing. I'm talking to this group specifically because even within rental property investing, like that concept, house hacking, which is basically, it's essentially just like you trying to hack your housing expense. And like the most common way that people think about it is like buying, for example, like a multifamily home, like a 2-family or 3-family, and then renting out the other units. You could also get like a single family home, rent out rooms. But yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to go about it. But yeah, I have a group that I meet with just specifically on house hacking. You know what I mean? Like we're all beginners, like trying to figure it out together. And I got that through a course. I'm a part of other groups like specifically for investing in like individual stocks. Another group specifically for trading options. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honestly, we could probably talk about these different endeavors too. It's hard not to like say what you're working on right now. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything, but it is good that you found these outlets, and it kind of sucks because personally, I don't even like engaging on social media platforms like too much. Like I don't think I could join a Facebook group chat and like be consistent. But it is cool because you have like some video meetings too. Like you're on like actual calls with these people, so that is a different aspect that I'm sure is like really nice. So question now, and I kind of want to make this a last question since we are kind of running up on time. How did you deal with the pressure from the people around you? Like, how did you deal with the people telling you, like, what are you doing? Like, you're wasting your time, especially from your family and maybe your friends, but you probably cut them all off, so.
Yeah, I said, fuck out of here, B. Broke boy, now I'm playing. But, yeah, I mean, I guess it was basically, like I said, just consistently being in the gym and consistently learning from people that are showing me that, like, I am on the right path. And, like, they're giving their results, and then I'm seeing my own results. So I understand that it's, like, it's not that these people are trying to, like, intentionally give me bad advice, but it's, like, they just see the world completely different. You know what I mean? We just recognize, like, completely different opportunities, but I'm not sure. I don't think that we really mentioned it before. Actually, no, we did. We talked about, like, different types of side hustles and all that. But for example, like, especially when it came to, like, in order for me to increase my income, right, because I said that just Citizens alone and just saving that, like, that wasn't enough for me to get to where I wanted to be as fast as I wanted to do it. I had to increase my income in different ways. So, like, I started out doing Lyft, and I think I started that in, like, 2018. Then I started doing Grubhub. So I was
Grubhub, baby.
Yeah, so I was doing Lyft and Grubhub starting 2019, and then 2020 it was just straight Grubhub, as well as like working my W-2 job, obviously, like working at.
And
the
you
bank.
still do that too. You still do all these things.
I still do them for now.
Yeah, for now.
But, you know, we got some moves coming up to retire both of those income streams.
Of course. So what's like the most discouraging thing then you've heard from your family or from anyone that's been like, wow, really, it's tough? Like,
to be honest, it's like anytime I want to do anything, someone has like something to say about it. So that's also why having like the physical like mastermind meetings and the virtual ones that I do are so important. to make sure that I don't kind of fall off that path, because you are going to start to think like a lot of the people around you. But yeah, so to speak specifically though, I'm not going to say that this is necessarily like the worst thing, but for example, like when I started doing Lyft, even from passengers, they would also have something to say. To be honest, like, oh, is it even worth it?
Yo, this car's kind of trap. Nah, man.
Yeah, right. Nah, well, no.
This car's kind of dumb.
Not that, bro.
I know.
Clean, bro.
I'm messing.
R.I.P. to that whip though. I'm not gonna hold you.
Oh, you got a new one?
Yeah.
You got the G-Wagon?
All right, relax.
Yes, sir.
Not yet. But
not ever, bro. Stop playing games.
I mean, I'm gonna call me a Tesla at some point, so that might be 2023 to be honest.
But that makes sense though. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh yeah.
So for example, like people would want me to like go out or whatever, like especially like colleagues at work and all that. Like, yo, like let's just all go out. And I'd be cool with kind of going out sometimes, because at the beginning too, like for Lyft, I was really just doing the night shift. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to get people like kind of like potentially going to the club or coming out of the club or like whatever, like those types of hours. So I'm like, all right, bet, like I'll go meet up with y'all after work, but like after a certain time period, like it's time to get to the bag. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like you would think that that's kind of respectable. Like it's not like I'm saying I'm not going out. Like we've been kicking it for hours, but at some point in time, like I'm trying to be out to go like meet my goals and all that. And they'd be like, yo, like you just need to stop doing that, bro. Like you're putting so much wear and tear on your car. Like I swear it's not even worth it. And all that stuff. But it's like, and this is what I was saying, like this is why I keep going back to being in the gym, because and I was actually just rereading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he had spoke on it too, where he's like, yo, what did he say? Basically something like, as you're increasing your like financial intelligence, I think he called it, like you just, like I said, like you recognize opportunities differently, but specifically it's like what's risky for other people isn't necessarily risky for you because of your financial intelligence, and that's why it's so important to invest in that. But yeah, because for the average like Lyft driver and Grubhub driver, like I'm sure that they are not the wealthiest people. Like you know what I mean? Yeah. Like
not
that's
yet,
just
not
facts.
Yet.
Well, not yet. I mean, when we put like our group on, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so and then I was just doing that, and I'm over here like meeting with, for example, like because with my job, like I said, we work at a bank, and that also kind of gives us access, like I think it's like once a quarter, to meet with like financial advisors. And all that. And to be honest,
they were trash.
Yeah, they're trash.
They're trash.
They're
trash.
trash.
Yeah, say how it is. They're trash.
Yeah.
They just don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that either, because I feel like that's something else I could talk about. But
yeah, that's a whole
trash.
topic right there. That's a whole episode, to be honest with you. But yeah, so they're over there like questioning me, like, nah, hold up, like, how do you have this much money right now? How do you have this much money to invest? Like, how, like, you know what I mean? And then even, not the last call, but the call I had in 2020 with them, they were like, dang, like, at this point, like, you're definitely 100%, like, in the 1% for your age. In terms of, like, your net worth, like, your wealth. You know what I mean? And that's I'm over here just making this $18 from citizens and just doing Grubhub, like, on the side. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like it doesn't work out for most people, because they're over here just blowing all the money that they're making, whether it's from their job or from a side hustle and all that. And that's why it's like, it's always salute to trap and earn your leisure and all that. But a lot of them, they kind of have the mindset of like, oh, you should never take on a second job because you're just selling more of your time. And they're like, yo, I've never met anyone with 2 jobs that is more wealthy than someone that with just 1 job. And I'm like, that's because when most people are making more money, they just end up having like lifestyle creep, meaning like they're just spending more money as they're making more money. So that's why it's not like just making more money by itself is not the wave.
It's useless.
And yeah, exactly. And that's what's talked about in Set for Life specifically. And that's why like the first like section of the book is just on basically that financial diet and cutting down your expenses as much as possible. And then the second section is about increasing your income as much as possible and constantly investing the difference. So that's what I was doing the entire time. Like my expenses were not really going up as I'm making more money, as I'm making like tens of thousands of dollars from this side hustle. I'm saving it. You know what I mean? And I'm not just saving it, I'm actually investing it. So every single dollar that I make from those side hustles is going to work for me for the rest of my life, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like, no wonder I would be in this position. But then when we talk about the criticism from other people, I've said this to you before, it's like with my colleagues at work, they be like, yo, like, why are you even doing all these side hustles or whatever? Like, what type of bills do you have to pay that, like, you feel like you need to do this? So, like, for them, it's not even about, like, the idea of building wealth.
They just don't get it. Exactly. They don't get it.
Yeah, like, why would you try to make more money unless it's to pay more bills? And I'm like, I don't know. That mindset is just different. Yeah, that mindset is just different to me.
And that's what we're trying to get away from, because I think a lot of the mindsets, are different, but I feel like a lot of these people just haven't even had anyone to let them know, like, it's because, like, you can make way more money and just invest that and eventually make even more money. Like, they don't have anyone saying that to them. So that's kind of why we're here.
I thought that I was, like, so about it because specifically like the generic kind of reason that people give you, like, oh, because you want to quit your job, like, you hate working, which I do. I mean, kind of hate working for other people, to be honest.
You should, man. Wait till you get your stuff. You're going to love working for yourself more,
But it's not even just that. Like, it's not even, like, I really care to work for myself specifically. It's more so, like, I don't really want to be forced to work at all. So, yeah. So, I'm probably going to keep continuing to work for myself, but I'm not going to go through with the mindset of, like, oh, I just want to be my own boss. Like, I'm just trying to be free, bro. I want to make sure that I can do whatever I want whenever I want to. But that wasn't, like, the deeper reasoning why, and that's not why I go as hard as I do, to be honest. But that's kind of like some internal work that I had to figure out. But for me, I realized that my why is more so about the idea of, like, just having, like, more control over my life. So a big thing for me is, like, control and leverage. And it's not, like, when I say control, like, I don't care to control other people at all, but I definitely want to be in control of myself and the situations I'm a part of and that, like, I'm just involved with. But yeah, like, growing up, I feel like I didn't have, like, a lot of control over, like, situations I was in, and I felt like I kind of couldn't really, like, speak out or stop certain things from happening because I didn't have the leverage I needed in order to make that happen without my situation just getting worse. And I realized how that kind of translated even when I got into, like, corporate America and things like that. It's not any better. Like, it's basically the same situation, just in a new form, where I really do have to make sure that I'm kind of conforming in order to get ahead or even kind of maintain. Whereas now, especially once my net worth hit 6 figures, I was like, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not conforming for anything. And that's just what it is. But yeah, there was a lot of that happening. And that's also, like, the big push for me to go towards financial health. Because originally I was just like, all right, cool. So I'm just going to kind of climb this corporate ladder. And I guess, like, along the way, I'm going to be building, like, more leverage and more influence. So I'm not going to have to conform as much. And I can kind of make it easier for, like, the next person coming along and kind of blaze that path for them. But that was just going to take too long, to be honest. So I was so happy when I started kind of discovering, like, financial independence and financial health and all that. Because it showed me that I could find, like, a way faster way to do that. And I don't even have to be 100%, like, financially independent. Like, even, I mean, because right now, I could quit my job, I cannot do Grubhub, and I could last for quite a while. You know what I mean? I could last for a little bit, especially when we start talking about other other concepts, like potentially like geo arbitrage or whatever, like living in certain types of countries. It's like, I could live for, like, over a decade over here, to be honest with you. Yeah, so once you have that certain level of, like, if you watch the show Billions, for example, I haven't really watched it like that. I've heard it's really good. I watched the first episode. But in the first episode, I think the character's name is, like, Bobby Axelrod or whatever, and he's like, yo, what's the point of having fuck you money if you never say fuck you? So like I said, because my whole thing was about control and leverage, like, once I got to a certain point, I really just realized I do not have to conform anymore. I can express myself how I want to express myself. I can talk how I want to talk, dress how I want to dress. And whether you accept it or not, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't need to be here anymore. Because like I said, even if you fire me, then that's fine. Bye. Like, you just freed up 40 hours of my week where I can work on doing something that's way better for me. Like, it would actually be a blessing if you were to fire me. So you can force me to really reach my potential, to be honest.
And isn't it crazy, like, what you're saying, like, is just freedom? Like, all you want is freedom.
Real quick, like, another quote is from Asada Shakur, and she had said, like, you cannot become free until you realize how much of a slave you are. So I feel like that's kind of important as well, where it's like realizing that you kind of put certain limitations on yourself in a way. Especially when I was thinking that the only way for me to get kind of the control and the leverage that I felt like I needed was to take a very specific path. Whereas now, like I said, from being in the gym and constantly educating myself, I know that there are many different paths for me to get this same exact thing. So that was just very important to me as well.
So what would you do right now if you didn't have to work for the rest of your life?
Ooh, that's a good question.
All the money in the world, basically. You're financially free right now.
So to me, I think I would just double down on like mastermind groups, basically, and building communities.
I take all that money and just put it in an index fund. I thought you were about to say that.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm going to be doing that regardless because it's just the love of the game. Like, it's just fun, and I like to be competitive with it like we talked about at the beginning. But yeah, I definitely want to spend a lot more time developing those communities because I have a thing about also kind of like being there for people in the way that I don't feel like the world was actually there for me.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said about that feeling of isolation and all that. So it's like I want to make sure that other people don't really have to go through like similar things that I went through.
And that's kind of what we're doing here too.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was awesome. Thank you, Noah, again, for letting us know what's inside your head, what kind of made you come to this conclusion that working the 9 to 5, working that till you're 65 is not the move.
It's not the way, bro.
It is not it.
We got to stop that, to be honest.
Exactly. And next week, again, we're going to have kind of how I got to where I got. I mean, I'm still very early in the journey, but we're going to be talking about kind of the things that happened in my life that kind of made me realize, like, this is not it. Again, if you did like this conversation today, follow the podcast, leave us a review on Spotify, do anything you can to push it out to your friends, share it to a friend. Really appreciate it. And again, we'll be talking to you on the next episode of the Wellness Health Podcast.